With Stadium being added to the custom games in Overwatch 2, I finally got the chance to take a closer look at the new Arena Victoriae map. Let's have a look. Usually, when they add a new map to Overwatch 2, one of the first things I'll do is jump into a custom game and explore every nook and cranny of that map, looking for Easter eggs, lore, and even hints to existing and future heroes. Which results in a video like the one I did last weekend for Atlas. I'll leave the link below. Now, when the Stadium maps released in Season 16, however, I could not do that because Stadium was not in the custom games. Luckily, that changed in Season 17. So this weekend I grabbed a tall drink, a bag of crisp, and I dove into the Arena map. One of the few really new maps that they added to Stadium. Now, not only did I find some hints towards a future hero, I also found some details that I missed in the first instance. Quite a lot, actually. Some even spectacular. And there is one small, I don't know, I'll call it an oversight by Blizzard. Yeah. Let's take a look. All right, I want to start out here somewhere in the middle. This is the center point that we find ourselves fighting for quite often. And it has a huge statue standing here of a gladiator that we have seen before. This is Magnus the Gladiator with the huge one-handed sword. There's a reason why I call it a one-handed sword explicitly. And right there in the back, you can see two statues, which is Camilla. And then you can see the Stadium Cup, shiny as ever, with some type of flame on there. I'm not going to say it's the Olympic flame. Now, this map is kind of known for its dramatic lighting and its dramatic skybox. Look at that. It's like a thunderstorm is waiting to happen. And of course, this map is set in Rome. One would presume that this is actually inside of the Colosseum, and that we usually fight along those corridors right there. On the other side, of course, that's where the push map most likely is going to be. But this is Stadium, so we got the scoreboard, and up there we got the flying arena. I flew up there to check out what it looks like. I'm going to be honest, there's not much to say. But let me show you, let's get a little closer. So yeah, you can see it's kind of supposed to be, I don't know, I think this is like the control rooms. Like where the announcer is, that some people are really getting pissed off at right now. And this is supposed to be the arena. Like I said, there's not much to see. It's a bit of an illusion. One thing is clear, they need a lot of sunscreen. And this is still a health hazard in my opinion. If this tumbles down, all those people down there, they're screwed. All dead. But other than that, nice view. Alright, let's get back. So one neat thing to notice is that the scoreboard is actually humongous. It is crazy sized. You can see the audience right here. I mean, they seem to be happy to be here. A little repetitive, but other than that, but no, it's, look at that. The structure that is holding up the scoreboard. Jesus Christ, talking about some dedication. One thing, talking about dedication to a sport, that is humongous. Another thing that I noticed that I had not noticed before, but see, like I said, this is set in the stadium, but it's actually not on the stadium floor. It's hovering over the stadium floor. This is a whole magnetized plate on which the map is actually built. It's being held up with these, I guess, magnets or thrusters or whatever you want to call it. It's actually a piece sticking out right here. That is the door to the spawn room. For some reason, it's only on this side. But anyways, it is a huge floating structure, completely fake, that is hovering on over the floor of the arena. I did not expect that. That is something I completely missed. But anyways, while we're up here, so this is Camilla. She is one of the gladiators, and so is Magnus, by the way, that we met for the first time when they released the Colosseum map. There are statues of these gladiators on that same map, and those were the heroes that inspired me to make videos about the fact that we need to get a melee hero, but that might be coming soon. But I'll get back to that in a second. What's going on here? So on the left side, you see this kind of little pedestal on which the flag is raised, and this one seems to be missing. Can we see that from the? I don't think we can see it from all the way down there, so they don't care. Yeah, no, it's noticeable. It is actually noticeable. Yeah, nope, that is a floating flag. All right. There's a lot more of these arena themed things. I love the black and gold. I'll prefer that over all the green that we see on the other maps. But anyways, let me get back to the middle. Oh, so the Magnus statue. It is surrounded by all these obstacles that are Gladiator themed, in the sense that in the Gladiator movies you see these kind of turn around and fling around all kinds of objects that are here to kill the gladiators. Another small detail that I missed while I was playing this map, but there's a constant flow of rose petals coming down, which was the way that they basically celebrated the victory of a gladiator. At least that's what we get to see in the movies. So yeah, that is a constant. We are winners, always. Magnus again. And then on the other side, you see Titus. This is Titus with the spear and the shield. And this is the reason why I'm so convinced that he's an Omnic. He has the Omnic quadruple eyes, I guess we can call him. And yeah, you can see his joints. Now with Magnus, he seems to have arms. So, I don't know. He might be human. Camilla. I'm still convinced Camilla is that one unit from Talon that just got on my nerves during the Archives missions. You know, the one that started yelling really crazy and then jumped on top of you and started stabbing you like she was trying to get your wallet through your chest. Yeah, that one. Right here in these back hallways, let's call it, there are weapons, classic gladiator weapons, gladiator helmet, kind of cool looking, the spears, the sword, and there is a shield with Roman numerals on there, 9. This would actually make a great shield for Brigitte, right? That would be kind of cool to have a gladiator Brigitte with this shield. Anyways, let's go up the stairs. So that is the view we saw earlier with the floating flag. Right there. But I want to draw your attention to this. So this is a sundial. That is the way that they told time back in the day. They basically told time by the position of the sun, and that position of the sun would throw shade, and they could read the shade from this thing. It is quite common at a lot of the Roman and Greek archaeological sites to see one of these. And there is the name of the map, Arena Victoriae, right under there. And then there's a whole bunch of text. But the text. But it's actually lorem ipsum. For people that do graphic design, they know lorem ipsum. It's just a bunch of text that doesn't mean anything, that sounds like Latin, that is often used by designers as a placeholder. It's placeholder text. I don't know. They might have thought, it's some type of kind of faux Latin. Let's go for that. Good on them. Yeah, I love all these kind of pits. I was imagining that there's like a whole basement with lions and tigers and, well, Omnic lions and tigers. But yeah, there's just a floor with the hover thingies. I feel cheated. Now, one question, guys. Like, why do we have that thing up there? I know the view was great, but there's seating aplenty here. There's nothing but seats. All these people could have sit down there. They would have had a closer view, and they weren't risking dying by a Damocles sword right there coming down on the rest of Rome. Yeah, maybe I'm just getting a little too excited about this, per usual. There's plenty of statues of Titus, Camilla. There's another one of the shields. I mean, yeah, some things are going to get repeated all over the map. This is kind of an interesting looking thing. I don't think it's anything special, but yeah, if you come out on the other side, this is where the jump pad is. In case you didn't know that. And you come out on the other end of the arena. Actually, what is that behind that gate? Ah, another Olympic flame. I love how they put in the effort to put up these flags that nobody is ever going to see in game. Are those supposed to be benches? Oh, wait. Those are very different flags. Those flags are not supposed to be here. It looks kind of like the Shambali flag, but not really. It looks like a very small ice cream too, but that might just be because I want ice cream. It's really hot in here. I've seen this symbol before. I can't place it. If you know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, we're not supposed to see this. We're supposed to stay on this end of the fence. Alright, we're back. So the jump pad, Titus, Magnus. But let's go to one of the spawn rooms, because that's actually where the most interesting things are happening. Yeah, by the way, Magnus also has his statues up there. So another set of helms, spears, swords, whatever. But this is where I wanted to get to. So these are posters for those same gladiators, and that gives us a little bit of a closer look. See, now Magnus doesn't really seem to have an arm under there, and you can also see kind of I think he's a heavily augmented human. That's what I'm thinking. But anyways, he has a subtitle, and his subtitle Il Campione Eterno, the Eternal Champion. Is it Campione? Campione? I don't know. For Camilla Lame Fulmine, which is just lightning blades. I mean, yeah, she has light in her blades. I feel like the inspiration was not there at that moment. She has lightning blades. She has fast blades. Again, we know that. She took my wallet through my chest. Been there. But she looks quite interesting. She looks very differently armored than Magnus does. Magnus has more of that Reinhardt thing going on, you know? Almost like it's made out of steel stone. And she has more of a light steel armor. A little more techy. But she has the claws. I think her and Mora are going to the same nail salon. Now if you fly over to the other end, we get another set of posters. First off, there's Titus, that we have seen before, which I still think is an Omnic. And see, on this poster, it's clear that he's an Omnic. I mean, he's an Omnic. The other two might be human or augmented humans. He is an Omnic, for sure. And his subtitle says, La Lancia del Giudizio, which I pulled through Google Translate, and that means the Spear of Judgment. That sounds pretty on point for an Omnic, in my opinion. I don't know, the Spear of Judgment. Now, the second poster is where things get interesting. Some of you already know about this, because this has been a thing. Well, actually, it started with the Spotlight event, and then when this map was released, everybody was all over it. But some of you might have missed this, so I'm just going to take it step by step. So what we see here is an unknown gladiator, and that Roman numeral actually says 45, hinting at the fact that this could be Hero 45. Now, from the looks of it, this is a female character with a lot of hair. A badass looking helmet, and then that sword right there with the wolf face on there. We'll get back to that in a second. Her subtitle says La Lupo della Ritizione. Jesus, my Italian is so bad. But that means the wolf of retaliation, or the she-wolf of retaliation, by the way. So that confirms that she is female. Now that weapon, we've seen that before. See, if we go into the spawn room, on one end you see Camilla's blade. You see Magnus's sword floating around. Oh, there's also like all kinds of artwork of gladiators. And a gravestone? I don't know what that is. Maybe a building? Anyways. Makeup. At the other end, we see Titus' spear and shield. And a lot of vases and other painting. But also, that sword that we see on the poster. Again, with the Roman numeral for 45. You can see the wolf on there. Now, the blade is smaller than I expected it to be. Because... remember back at the Spotlight event, they gave this whole presentation that was like set on Gibraltar, and somewhere in the background, viewers quickly noticed that there was this little scribble. This little scribble of a hero with a big sword that looks very reminiscent of this, including with the hair and whatnot that we see on this character. So that is convincing a lot of people that after we're getting Wu Yang in Season 18, or Aqua, the new support hero, then in Season 20 we're going to get this character as a new hero. Which has a huge-ass sword, and as you can see in this little scribble, it is way bigger than it is right here in front of us. But I don't know. We'll see. Now, other than that, what do we know about the hero? Not much. I mean, we see the wavy hair. We see the helmet, the sword. Now, that subtitle, The Wolf of Retaliation, she's out for revenge. Which gives us another character that is out for revenge after Freya. Freya also seems to be out to avenge or to find someone. So I guess this is not going to be any different. But it could be that she either is going to be Greek, Italian. It could also be another nationality. I mean, gladiators weren't all Italian or Greek. I don't think she's going to be an Omnic though. She looks pretty human. But I guess we'll find out somewhere in Season 19. Which is going to be in October. That's a long wait. But I'm very curious to learn more about this character. Very curious to see what this is going to be about. Because ever since Colosseum was added to the game, I've wanted one of these gladiators to be added to the roster. And instead of adding one to the roster, they build a completely different one, a completely new one. And they're going to add that one to the roster, which is completely fine. And this is the perfect map to find that out. It might be small in size, but oh boy, this map has stories. No, I just noticed that there's rose petals over here too. I guess they just toss them out everywhere. I thought the center point was at least a bit special. I need to get some sunscreen. And that was it. This is definitely my favorite stadium map. It is so beautiful. But tell me, what do you think about this map? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.